There was violence in the air all around the fight.
He didn't want to win. He didn't want to win the fight. He actually wanted to kill Nigel Benn. He actually thought he was going to do it in the first round.
We knew we had two of the most exciting fighters on the planet. You'd be warned. We didn't know it was going to start the way it did in the opening round.
It was so funny, I actually looked at Gerald McClellan and I looked at him and I thought, oh, he ain't big.
Oh, people, you better be ready because it is absolutely about to go down. We are about to take you for a ride to keep you in a place and show you some stuff that has recently sparked my heart to take part in and share with you. So,
What's up, man?
we're going to take a look back.
Gerald McClellan was a great amateur. Incredible amateur. I mean, when he was actually...
And I'm going to, no further ado, special shouts out to all of you for taking the time to chime in, all of you that's popping in. But today we have a special guest, and I got to get right directly into introducing her. And because God sends angels, and she is without a doubt an angel sent from heaven. So with no further ado, we're going to introduce, like I said, an angel sent from heaven, Lisa McClellan. Put your hands together, everybody out here in social media. Let us know where you're watching from. Special shouts out to all of you. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing, and I like to get down to it. Before we get going, all of my people here that are avid coaches, avid gym owners, avid trainers, just people who are in the sport of boxing, fair weather fans and people. This story actually got, people when I posted it, when we chatted the other day, and when I posted it, I know when something's going to be of interest. And you came across my radar, and it was just a lot's going on right now. And excuse us, guys. She's popping in and out. I think it's something going on with the Wi-Fi in the universe, but I'll keep going because she'll pop it back in the studio. But what got me to really take this conversation to the next level was the fact that our friend Gerald McClellan is, if not the most tenacious man to ever put on gloves. I'm going to give you guys a opportunity to shout yourselves out. But yeah, because her thing's popping in and out. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm having a little trouble with
It's
my...
all good. We'll keep it going because you know what? This thing is just so loaded, and I got clips and everything. And what's going to be wonderful, I'm going to take this time to conversate with you. Okay. Then when this is over, I'm going to do some play-by-play with the whole scenario and let people really get the inside to this, because a lot of these people are young and they are not from the sport. And they don't remember this is one of the most eye-opening. It was eye-opening to people. And, the story is so palpable that it's almost like there was this calling for this role that you have on this planet. And I don't know how you feel, but every time, which is almost every day, that because I tread through the sport and like I said, I got all these coaches that are in the sport, and this is the reason I try to coach these guys up. One question that I have for you, I want you to do me a favor, if it's okay, if you don't mind, and I want you to take me back so people get an idea of what someone, when you're a family and you go to an event to watch someone you love dearly, get positioned in that place, in that position. I have a question that I want you to follow this up with. What was going through your mind play by play as they enter the ring? And can you take me back and walk me through things that you typically may not have felt that just this night had some weird vibe? Do you remember it? Because I know so much has happened since then.
Well, we watched the fight on,
Mhm.
well,
Short circuit.
the fight was on it was a 6-hour delay.
Ah,
So we knew Gerald was hurt before the
oh,
fight actually aired.
oh,
So we were preparing to go to my sister's to watch the fight.
yeah,
And we first got in the call that Gerald had lost the fight, which for us was devastating.
yeah.
Um, but we decided we would still go ahead and watch the fight. So about
Hmm.
5 minutes later, we got another call that said Gerald was rushed into emergency brain surgery. And we had like 5 minutes to give permission or he wouldn't make it.
Whoa.
And still to this day, I still haven't watched the fight. So those clips that you just showed, I've I've seen bits and pieces because it's been out there, and I've been
Yeah,
kind of forced to watch them.
yeah,
But I've not been able to watch the fight ever.
yeah. I can't even imagine like the fact when you get the news because I'm sure he can fight. I mean, sometimes you're not so worried about that aspect of it, but it is a sport and it's a gladiator sport. It's the sweet science. Anything can happen. That's always there. That never goes away. That reality though, did you feel, how much did you really know about his coach that worked his corner that night? Were you really
Well,
conscious of who?
I knew that guy in particular
Mm-hmm.
when we were coming up. Um, when we lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, there was a gym that Gerald went to, and he
Mm-hmm.
used to kind of hang around the gym and coach other fighters.
Yeah.
But my dad was fiercely protective of Gerald and
Uh-huh.
who he even allowed around Gerald.
Of course.
So those guys, they were kind of like hanger-ons
Of
where
course. That's what yeah. Yeah.
um so no one that should have been in the ring with Gerald that night.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what we do in my company. We school coaches, all of it. The stuff they don't want to have to learn, but they do. They have to because this was a life altering. It's almost like 9/11 for the sport. It was that. It was like COVID. It just changed things forever, you know. And when I saw the video, I was so devastated. I'm like you. I couldn't even watch. I can't even watch. It was the first time the other day, the first time where I actually saw the collision that really could have been the determining factor of that, and the beginning phases of it, the blinking and everything that he experienced, which is anybody who's being educated understands that there are certain particular things that happen neurologically, just like when someone
Absolutely.
would get staggered. Like that is common knowledge. You have to be conscious, and everyone. And I don't think a lot of these people are just piling on. I think they really meant it, that they saw that was not good and they could tell. So I tell people there are only 3 reasons why fighters lose fights in situations. And the team, there is incompetence present because clearly dominated the fight. the thing is, it was the lack of consciousness and awareness by the corner. And I'm not pointing fingers, but the thing is, this is what, when it grabbed me, I had to just see. And it was so hard to watch. And we'll give her a second to pop back in. Let you guys weigh in, and I'll read some of your comments to Lisa when she comes back, so you all can really get an opportunity. People don't know his knockout ratio was the best ever. Yeah, he was a beast in that ring. You know, when he knocked out Julian Jackson, I was like, oh, this guy's for real. He knocked the hog. Like, wow, I got to pay attention. But having this being said, you know, just I want people to realize that when you're a family member of someone who's going out into this game, which is why I tell all of you who are watching to do not take this lightly, because that night never ends for Lisa. It never ends for Gerald. And when you guys go on about your regular life, this is a reality nonstop, day in and day out, day in and day out. It doesn't go away. And so I want you guys to really be clear that this isn't, you know, a news clipping. This isn't ESPN coverage. This is life. And this is what goes on in the sport. And what was the first thing, Lisa, that when you received this news, fortunately it wasn't fatal. And when I know what I did, I was devastated. I literally did not believe that it was a foul up, and I already start hearing the birds chirp, you know. And what were some of the moments that you recall from that time span, hearing that news? I
Well,
can't even imagine what you.
the first thing, Eric, we could do is pray.
Yeah.
It was we're a very close family,
Yeah.
and we've always been very protective of each other and of Gerald and him getting in the ring. And it was one of those situations, one of the very few situations of Gerald's whole career, Eric, where someone was not there with him. You know, whether it be my dad, my brother, my sister.
Mhm.
Things kind of happened at the last minute where my older brother was supposed to go. He didn't get his passport on time.
Mhm.
A very close friend of Gerald's, that probably would have been the only person that I would have put my trust into,
Mhm.
was sent home during training camp before they went to England. So, and it was done at a time that he was sent home. His name is Marnik Stamps.
Mhm.
He was sent home at a time when Gerald was away doing business. He was sent away from training camp to go back to Wisconsin. So he probably would have been the only person Gerald would have trusted,
Yeah.
having his back. And I think with the guys that were that were there, which is Stan Johnson and Donnie Pendleton,
Mhm. Hmm.
Gerald always felt kind of like he was maybe a one-man show, where he basically had them there,
Yes.
but he still was going to call the shots. But when that time came, when he wasn't able to call the shots, they failed him.
Yes.
They failed him terribly, because my first question is, and this is not so much the referee didn't speak or understand English, which my fighter wouldn't have gone out there in the ring under those conditions.
Yes. That
But
was. Mhm. That's what I was going to ask you about.
Right. So that was the first issue. The second issue was clearly Gerald was in trouble. And clearly he was in trouble, and either they didn't know or they didn't care
No.
that he was in trouble.
Yeah.
I was told by another one of the guys that was there that Gerald had at some point came back to the corner and said he felt like water was running inside of his head.
Yes.
And this is just hearsay. I don't know this to be a fact, but Stan Johnson said, "You get out there and you fight until you die." But they failed Gerald.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's an understatement of the year.
Yeah.
There are multiple times, and this isn't, at the playground, you're 6 years old, someone pushed you down and you pushed them back. This is professional fighters. There's no room for that kind of human error, and
Right.
a multitude of times. For one, to co-sign on what you said about the referee not even speaking English, huh? Excuse me. Like, in the history of boxing, I've never heard of such rhetoric, and I can't possibly believe that they allowed that. That would never happen over here in the U.S.
Right.
And
They were both, if qualified to be amateur coaches or amateur cornermen, but I probably would be being generous if I said they were probably at an amateur level.
you were being,
Okay.
yeah, you're being generous, because incompetence is not tolerated on any level, no matter if they're amateur or professional. And when you have the opportunity to use two eyes that are inside of your head, they're not covered. It's obvious there's something more happening. I know they wanted their guy to be successful, so the home field and the hometown stakes are stacked. But that was obliviously purity, incompetence, and dirty.
Yeah.
There's no other like that will never do anything that obvious in the states. And for them to even allow that, for Frank Bruno to come on and you know their own true purists in the boxing world over there knew that was fugazi. So tell me this: when you hear about these things more and more, because you don't know the first thing, you don't really know, it was a corner fail until you start to get the details. Tell me, how does this ever go away? And every time you turn around, you hear something more that was on their behalf. The ref, the cornerman, like, how
I
does that?
kind of, with everything that we've gone through, Eric, the last 27 and a half years,
Mm-hmm.
I try not to even allow that to hinder where we got to go.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to let, I mean, I think about it. I won't say often, but I think about it and it makes me angry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in an angry place.
No.
I want to be open to receive the blessings that we received for 27 years. So,
Yeah.
And then they're not even worth even
Yeah.
having a conversation
Yeah.
about them. It's really not worth my time.
Yes. It's you're commendable. Most people can't swallow that pill like you have, but it's obviously you have more, and it's a wonder why people like myself are going to focus on getting a train of this, because we're gonna do this support thing. And I want you guys to take liberty to understand that it costs a lot to support someone when they're disabled. What's over $70,000 a year just for care
Oh,
to
that
do
was
that.
probably, oh gosh, that was probably the first, probably 25 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm
and it just
sure it's probably doubled now, but
really,
um, oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah. Well, I definitely want all of you. I'm starting out, and I'm telling everybody to understand this. This is the sport that you all know and love, and you have an opportunity to show how much love you truly have. And when someone's dedicated their life to the sport that way, and was just on the verge of being absolutely just one of the top pound for pound fighters in history, and really already still that's the conversation because of the dominance, the level of dominance just in that time span. I want you all to go. It's the link is in the comments right now, that you can go support Gerald McClellan, and I am donating. I'm starting the thing off at $200. Y'all start piling on just like you do with comments and using all of the footage that you guys are getting here. This is a time where you show your mettle, because you got to put yourself in the mindset when someone that you love has sacrificed to put their life on the line to provide. This is what this is all about. Sport that you love, you found what you love, you dedicate yourself to it, you provide. And so I want you to think about that with someone that's close to you, because what I've learned over years is that when you put your inside, what you have in your spirit, in your soul, when you put it out into the universe, it comes back to you. That's what I have learned. Being a person who's made and paved my own way, I didn't know these things early in life. I heard them, I just didn't understand how it works. So whatever you put into the universe comes back. Now I want to give you a hack to that, and a hack it is. You can't do anything, and I wonder why my mom always said this. You can't do anything with bitterness in your heart, or the universe, it just does not hear that. So you have to, when you have to give with a smile. So whatever it is you decide that you can do and you will do it with a positive spirit. And that right there just creates a domino effect of positivity. And that's how it comes back around to you. So before you pull out your card and you go over there and do the donation, don't do it thinking about things that'll be creating vitriol in your mind. Do it from a place that you've grown to. You've made it through COVID. You've made it through 9/11. You've made it to this point. You're here for a reason. And when you have the opportunity to help, that's what totally takes you to that next level. When I knew that I had an opportunity to bring Lisa on to you guys, I said, they are going to rise up, because these people sit here and they embrace, they digest, and they learn, and they understand how important it is. The experience that Gerald went through was because of the things that we are trying to fix on this page. And so there is no more perfect timing for everybody to rise up. You know, it
Eric,
triggered. Yes, go ahead.
excuse me. I started 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
I started, I don't know if you've seen it on my page, but I started an organization called the Ringer Brotherhood. And with my organization, I have 4 wonderful partners.
Mm-hmm.
we are filming a docu-series called Life After Boxing, with Gerald and myself being the pilot episode. And
Wow.
in doing so, well, for the last 5 years, I've worked with the WBC
Mm-hmm.
and their foundation. I started 10 years ago. Today is actually the 10-year anniversary of the foundation.
With
With
Jill and those guys over there, Jill.
yeah, it's with their foundation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the fighters, I started applying for the funds for Gerald 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I met so many fighters that were really in bad shape. And I would say, well, you haven't heard about the WBC grant? And they didn't know anything about it. So I would send them the application, and a lot of the guys, it's just a 4-page application. Excuse me. And they weren't able to fill out the application. So I started filling out their applications. So I have about 12 guys that I fill out their applications every year, because you can apply for it every 12 months. So I got to really know a lot of the guys doing this,
Yeah.
and seeing the needs, and knowing them personally, and seeing what was going on. And so when I had the opportunity to put my organization together, I also started, because we're going to film the fighters. Like Gerald's going to get stem cell therapy. So we're going to film him getting the stem cell therapies. And so a lot of the fighters that we are going to film, we also want to help them. We don't just want to say, okay, here's this fighter, this is where his life is at. Okay, that's it. We want to be able to help them when we're doing that. So we've got counselors. We are looking into building residential areas for not just fighters, for athletes that are homeless, that are in need. And then we started a clinical research committee where I'm working with like 8 doctors, and we're going to be offering treatment plans to help with nutrition and brain health, with getting stem cells and hyperbarics, and all the treatments that's available, to be able to offer these to these guys for free. So, and it was only because the 27 years that I've been taking care of Gerald, we haven't had any hope. We haven't had any help. So I've teamed up and partnered with the WBC, with Mauricio Suleiman, who's helping me with this. And we're just going to knock down some doors to do whatever we have to do to take care of these guys that are in need.
It is so necessary that you've been doing it. I have Mauricio on. Those guys, they are super, and Jill and I go back and forth a lot. So you definitely got a power team. We'll contribute what our juice is.
If you go to, it's theringerbrotherhood.com, and then we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah. This is, and see what most people don't understand is, if you want to make something happen, power is in numbers. And when you put it out like that, people respond. People will respond. You got to take an initiative and do something. And so now you started this, and look at it. It's going to be, I mean, I can already see like the wheels are going to fall over this thing. It's going to be massive.
Like, well, we're already in talks with a major production company who we're working with to start production. So, and then within probably the next maybe 30 to 45 days, we want to be able to offer the treatment plans to the fighters. um, and whatever we can. We also started a foundation to be able to help, with food and shelter and
Yeah.
whatever the fighter need,
Yeah.
to try to get his life back on track is what we want to be able to help them do.
That's, man. I mean, to be to shoulder that, and like I said, I'm not just gonna put it on the screen. I'm gonna go and check it out, and I'm gonna be in touch because I want to do something, play a role, and be a voice, because we got these people here that are watching, and people that bring some value to the table. That's what you want. People who understand. There are people who go out there and they grunt, and then there are the people that you need to help get to a place that they can help. And
You would not believe
yeah.
the people. I went to Mauricio because I didn't want him to think that this was launching an attack on boxing, because I have a great deal of respect for him and what he's done for the fighters. So I didn't want to put boxing in a negative light.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to just give him heads up in what we were doing. And he was so impressed that he financed it. He have offered so many of his connections to help us out. And just the doctors that have come on board.
Yeah.
Only God could have brought those people our way, Eric. I mean, it's like falling in line to where,
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be something wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something that's here to stay.
That is powerful, man. We got people just leaving comments and stuff. I'm gonna see because the be like Mauricio is super cool, and when I had him on, he was really, you could tell he really loves what he does, because he gets down there and knuckles up with people, and this is proof in the pudding. I mean,
well, you know what he told? I had a meeting with him 2 weeks ago. We just we did our launch like 2 weeks ago. Our press release, started the website. So I kind of did a meeting with Mauricio to say, okay, I'm ready. And so I just kind of gave him a little rundown of everything we had prepared to launch.
Yeah.
And he said, Lisa, I am very impressed because, first of all, he said people come to him all the time with these ideas and they never go anywhere. And even just to see my research committee and the doctors and the team that we've put together, where it's just something that's been wonderful.
That is so great, man, that it's turned into that. The juice, you got the juice behind you now. That is the whole thing. And more people get to hear about it. And I'm sure, like, as these events are taking place, that you'll get, more visibility. So it kind of works all in that haven of what boxing can do for you if you play the game the right way. And I said that just the other day, like, boxing will pay it back to you when you contribute and donate and open your mouth. So you had to open your mouth and show that you were doing something. Right.
And not only that, I feel like it come a time where you just have to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? If these things are, if nobody's doing it, maybe it's because it's meant for us to do it. Maybe the people that the caregivers, because I am not the only one. There is so many. Here's the misconception, Eric.
Yes.
Is that fighters in need are far and few in between. That's not true, because Gerald had an injury in the ring, but there's so many other guys that didn't have injuries in the ring that are suffering now. So there's so many.
Yes.
There's more guys that ended their careers that are suffering now with traumatic brain injuries, then
Yeah.
there are guys that got hurt in the ring.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those guys that need that need help, and
Yeah.
just having relationships with the sisters, the family members that the
Yeah.
other family members that are caring for those guys,
Yeah.
just sharing our stories over the years and us creating a bond, and it's like, I got us. I'm gonna fix this sport for us. It may be too late. Um, it's not too late for Gerald and Donald Curry and those guys that need help. But
Oh
to
my gosh.
even be able to, Eric, keep the active fighters today to fight to
Mm-hmm.
keep those guys safe as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I knew that there was a situation with fighters in those dire straight situations, whether it's physically or just economically. And I said I was putting together a thing down here in South Florida to launch a narrative to teach people the financial planning, how to really understand your money, and when you get it, how to utilize it and make it, you know, work for you instead of it work against you. Because the
Right.
more money you get, it's like the lottery. I'm gonna give you guys a little pearl. Lottery is just the amount of money that it can put you in, that's going to put you in the hole. So if you win a $50 million lottery, you're just going to be in a $50 million hole, because that's when you don't understand money, you're going to lose it. And 85%
Right.
of the people do, because they just think spend, spend, spend. They don't understand money is like a seed. It has to be planted and it has to grow. You have to learn how to do that, and no one does. And it's just the more money people are getting, it's worse off, because you're
Right.
just digging a deeper hole. So I've been saying this is what we're going to do. And I have my platform and I can talk and show people. I do workshops and masterminds and try to keep people just learning, because what you're doing right now, though, a lot of people don't have the energy to say, okay, enough. I'm going to do something. And when you did that, it causes people a reaction, and it makes them want to do more. And that's what you're experiencing now. Because when people see that you'll get in the game and get your hands dirty outside of having your hands dirty, then that
Hmm.
what creates that domino effect and that pile on effect. And you're going to just continue to build a movement. This is a movement, what you're doing. People say that, they don't do it. They don't understand. Like, what you're doing is a movement, because the ball is going to be so big soon that you can't even envision where it can go. You
That's
know?
what my mission statement, Eric, is, to create a movement
Well, trust what I'm saying.
to where we all take
Yeah,
care of these guys that we've once enjoyed
yeah,
their careers.
yeah,
We have a responsibility,
yeah.
um,
Nah,
as people who love this sport, to look after these guys when they're in trouble and when they're in need. I feel like we have a responsibility, and I'll be the first to do whatever I can to help those guys.
yeah. So today, opposed to 5 years ago, you know, where is your headspace now, opposed to you go back 5 years ago and you could tell Lisa, you know, in 5 years, where you are right now, this is going to be happening. Would you believe it?
Well, I had opportunities, Eric, where people had came to me and like wanted to do
Stuff.
movies about Gerald's.
Mm-hmm. Hold on one second, people. She's frozen up. Don't worry about it. She'll be back. This is good stuff. And I want you guys to pay attention that, sitting on the sidelines while the people that are doing the entertaining for you, that you take liberty to step up and rise up and prove your mettle, because we are, and we want you to follow. Go down there into that comment box, find that link, and do a donation. Just go through the process, press the button, and even if it's $5, do something, but do it with a good spirit, do it with good energy. Then you'll see what happens when you use that, what we call auto suggestions. Say, I give this in faith, and watch what happens in return. Do it with a positive spirit. And what she's doing single-handedly, after being, special shouts out to my brothers in TSOB, and you live in Freeport, Tyrese. What's good? We'll be playing hoops in Highland. Then out this, that's good. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, Dwayne. Where you watching from, D? And Emilio, I saw you left that great message, and I'm going to tell her directly. I just wanted her to have an opportunity to finish explaining and sharing. This is a movement, and it's a massive movement for the sport of boxing, because now this is actually happening. I see very few people making moves like this, getting the people who have the power and the juice behind them. And for you who are boxing fans or a part of the sport in the combat world, being able to share these times and be a part of this, you guys are witnessing history right now. This is that Lisa's taking part in. This is serious. This isn't some small stuff. And Emilio, thanks, brother. We appreciate you. And I saw another young man. Let me see. I'm glad to be a part of this. Gerald's top 5 pound for pound best. Thanks. I think your name is Vitor, Mr. Jackson. Thanks for the comment, brother. Special shouts out to you when this video is done and it's edited up. Make sure your comments there. And we like to send a special shout out to those who did the donations. So if you donate, make sure you leave it in the comment box. Let us know you did, and we want to share your name as the top stars on the page for this week. We want to make sure that we highlight those who are doing special things, who are stepping above and beyond to make an impact. So therefore, stay tuned as we continue to do this. There you go. There you go. You got it?
Okay. I
Good.
apologize. So I
It's so
jumped on my
good.
cell phone instead.
It's reliable.
Right.
Good stuff. Yeah, we have people just totally enamored with what you're doing. In the comments, I was just putting comments up, and they were just, I was just telling them and sharing with the audience that they're really witnessing something. This is historic. You know the moves that you're making and going down in history, don't you?
Well,
Because
I
that's
hope
what you.
so. But
No,
Eric,
you.
it's
Yes.
just it's Ring of Brotherhood without the in front of it.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Look, I was going to get this because I'm gonna create, have a nice document done and posted on our page, so
Okay,
people.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't like to do a lot of stuff small. If I do it, I like to go all the way with it. I like to do it right. I like to do it big. Because if I put energy in anything, I want it.
I was impressed when you sent me the message the other day.
Yeah.
I went to your page and I was very impressed.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. We
That's
we try
very.
to help. We try to help people and give. We want our sport to be viewed like they view lacrosse. respect us that level.
Right.
Respect us like you do golf.
And I think
Respect us. Yeah.
once we get that respect, Eric,
Yes.
we'll get a better result in taking care of these guys and looking
Oh
out for
my
these
God.
guys.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Lisa. But you know what? You put the helmet on and you rammed it through the door though. Don't you can't sleep on that move that you made. Like that's a scary thing to go to tell somebody who may not even care really, and you just said, "Hey, this is what it is." So, don't underestimate the move that you made. That was brave. And I
Well,
don't
my partner is a pastor, Eric,
yeah.
and he's a God-fearing man,
Yeah.
and he's a businessman, in
Yeah.
addition to being a pastor. He's a successful businessman.
Yes.
And I've learned so much from him in this
Mhm.
last year about business, and then I've taught him a lot about what's going on with the fighters. So we've made a great team, and we keep God first, and
Yes.
and those doors. I mean, the opportunity that we have right now, I can't really talk about it, but the opportunity that we have coming now is going to be life changing.
Oh yeah. 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 And it's gonna be an abundant flow. It's gonna be an
Yes.
it's gonna continue to be an abundant flow. The thing is, be ready, you
Oh,
know.
I've been ready for 27 years, so I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, we're ready in a part of our body, but God work in a way that the mountain of wave, wanting it and being ready, you're prepared for anything now. Think about you 27 years ago. Were you ready for anything? Like
Right. Because you're absolutely right, Eric, because had this opportunity come to me 5 years ago,
mm-hmm.
mentally and emotionally, I probably wouldn't have been ready for it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been ready for it.
Yeah.
But I'm ready now. And like I said, I have some wonderful people that have backed me and joined in to make this possible. I mean, even the doctors just giving their time to build the research committee, and just it's been wonderful.
No, that's humongous because I came up in the medical field. So I know when you get those guys on board, hey, it's only going to roll. You're just going downhill with speed, and you get that momentum. And when people see something happening, they want to do what? They want to get on. They want to take,
Absolutely. And it's
you
been
know,
that way.
yeah. They definitely, that is just that, what we call that when momentum come, those doors are starting to open, but you're ready because you have developed this skin, and you don't have expectations for people, and your heart is in the right place because now you can receive. Like I just told my audience, these that I say, hey, if you give with resistance, you may as well not even do that. You got
Right.
to have, your heart has to be open, and it takes time sometimes in our lives to learn and understand those behaviors.
Yes.
you
Absolutely.
know yeah, in your head you got it, but we call that cognitive mastery, but that's not emotional or physical mastery. You don't have it in you. That's not who you are. You know what to say because it's written on paper. You hear people say it, but you're not living that life, and there's a tremendous difference. And so you had the fortitude, the nails far enough in the foot, the courage rises. It's like watching a loved one in trouble. Then you forget all fear, and then you rise up, and that's what you did. So
I
uh,
felt like this, Eric. I felt like if I can help Gerald,
yeah.
if I can get to the point where I can get this help for Gerald,
Yes.
I can get it for the rest of them. if I can be his voice,
Yeah.
I can be the voice of the rest of the guys that are in need, or the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the sisters, or the mothers, or the other caregivers. I can, you know, open those doors for us,
Yeah.
because I'm telling you, there has been, other than the WBC and an organization called Ring 10,
Mm-hmm.
in 27 years, Eric, there's been very little help.
Yeah.
Um, Financially, there's been very little help as far as even having doctors, even to be able to understand Gerald's injuries, or to
Really?
treat the injuries, or to treat the behavior. You know, one of the things when these guys get traumatic brain injuries, there's a lot of aggression and behavior issues.
Yeah.
And people see that, especially in our black men, and
Yeah.
they think they're just violent.
Yeah.
No, that is what the brain is doing. You
Yeah.
know, this is even, you know, with Gerald has really bad behaviors, and
Mm-hmm.
for years I'd go to a doctor and they just want to throw him on a bunch of psychotropic medications, and which I've never done, Eric. I've never allowed it.
Yeah.
And now there's stem cells and hyperbarics and um, so many other treatments out there, that'll even supplements
Wow.
that'll help
Yeah.
this, you know. So we want to be able to offer that kind of help when these
Yeah.
guys are in trouble.
There are levels of that education, and I'm a holistic kind of dude. I mean, I just try to live that life, and I can't believe, you know, most people will just succumb to what the doctors say and just start popping pills and injecting them with stuff. So good for you for not folding under pressure, because pressure usually bursts pipes. So good for you, because that took a lot.
We've left many a doctor's offices, Eric, where I had to school them because
Yeah,
they automatically think they know because they're the doctors. Well, I live with this 24 hours a day, so I
yeah.
do know a little bit about, probably a little more about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if they couldn't justify giving him something, then
Yeah.
I wouldn't allow it. And to this day, we actually are working on, one of the doctors on our research committee has a treatment plan called the protocol. And
Mm-hmm.
right now, it's being used for veterans with traumatic brain injuries.
Really.
And I got about this much more to go to get him to commit
Yeah.
to having that same commitment to the fighters. He keep
Wow.
telling me how busy he is, but he show up for every meeting
Yeah.
to help.
Yeah.
So I, I,
Yeah.
I want him to have the same because he's very passionate
Yeah.
about what he does for the veterans. I just want, I've almost got him convinced to have that same passion for our fighters.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes it's not in the person's words, it's in their actions. If you keep showing up, eventually that's just,
Yes.
yeah, he's walking that path already. Little does he realize, but in his heart is pulling him that way, because he's seeing you're doing things. People like to help people that help themselves. That's
And
just
one of
a
the
natural.
biggest things have been, Eric, and
Yes.
and I can say that has been a blessing,
Mm-hmm.
is I guess people have seen my commitment, and that's what makes them want to help. And that's
Yeah.
where I think the respect come from,
Yeah.
is seeing that. I don't know if they feel sorry for me, or if it's
No.
respect, but I'll
No.
take it either way it is.
No,
But
you're a hero. You literally are. People just don't know how to say it. If somebody starts saying it out loud, that's what people will tag it. Oh, yeah, she is a hero. That's a hero. A person that takes on something that people can't even fathom, and then they not only do it, but they stomach it and rise up above just that Call of Duty and take it to another level and get other people on their shoulders. That's a hero. That's in my
Well, thank
definition.
you.
That's what it is. So
I told my partner last week, he said, you have some of the best relationships and connections that I've ever seen, like with Mauricio and
yeah,
like Tom Gerbazy and
yeah,
those people that have gotten involved. And I think those are people that have rolled this out with me for 27 years.
yeah.
And,
It's a
and
big
they
deal.
see, the commitments I made, and that it's about Gerald, but it's about Gerald and whatever I can do to help so many others. So
Wow.
I think it's respect. So, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a great feeling knowing that these people are coming together to help.
Oh, look, another person from the outside could actually see clear what is actually happening, but we are in the bubble. We're inside of it, so it's hard to see out and look in. So just trust this process, because someone who was raised in the home of a prayer warrior, and I have one gift, and I can really see people and the direction they've chosen and what is coming. It's almost like this vision that I can see, and I can see that short term roll out. I understand certain behaviors. The behavior you have is hero-esque. The way that you've gone about it is you've grown into that role. You've grown into that role. So something internal has caught up with the external, and it's made these things transcend. So just keep on with that energy. The energy is what I say to people. Your chakra really does. God pays attention to like-minded people, people
That's facts.
who operate like he does and would. And when you're there, your spirit is there, your soul there, then the rest will come that way. So you continue to do that. And I want to definitely have you back and see how it's going. But like I said, I'm gonna stay in contact and communicate and let you know areas that I know and my network, and bring something, because I've been tied to this a long time. For the first time, I watched the fight, not all the way through. Like I said, I ain't that dude because I don't know, and I am tied to it, and so that has been 2 decades since, almost three. It's going,
Yes.
it's moving. Yeah, it's like, so I feel tied to it. And you're doing something historic. So I'll hide behind you and I'll be there to give a nudge, pull a person here, pull a person there, and use what I have to contribute to what you're doing. All right.
I would love to have you come in and sit at on one of our committee meetings, Eric, just to see what we're doing.
Absolutely. You don't even, man, all you needed to do is tell me the date and time. And
I
I am
definitely
there.
will.
Yeah, and I am there. My birthday's Saturday. That's the only day I won't be available.
Okay.
No.
No, we do it. We've been. It's one of the biggest things is trying to get all the doctors together at the
That's
same
tough.
time.
Yeah.
Um, and then we started recording the meetings. So if one of the doctors miss, we get the video out to them right away, so they don't feel like they still up on everything. But
Yeah.
for the most part, we do get most of the doctors on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And we got doctors, we got neuroscientists, we have, gosh, we have retired fighter, an active fighter, we have a journalist, we have someone from every aspect of boxing that
Yeah.
have been involved in this or that's involved.
Yeah.
And it's going to be pretty awesome once we're able to execute and start, offering treatments.
Yeah. And then that funding will come in the waves, and putting on the kind of events like white tablecloth where,
Oh, we've already got our first Ring of Brotherhood gala
whoo, yeah.
planned for
Yeah.
September. of
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, that's how it happens when you start putting
Yes.
those on. Because I helped do one of the fight nights, charity thing fundraiser back in North Carolina when I was there, and the goal was to raise $1 million. I said, hey, let's go after it, and that thing is where people feel like they look up at boxing then, because it really does move the needle. It moves people's spirit. It makes people happy. Then you get, when you start to be your job, it wears you down, but it makes people just do. And so that energy that you're going to have, because it is for the sport of boxing, uh those guys, they dig it. Those doctors, those guys, they love the sport, because I came in the medical field. I was in the medical field. I was a surgical technologist for over 10 years.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm no scrub to that. 96,000 hours, in the
So look, maybe
operating.
we need you on our committee, Eric.
Hey, I don't play around, Lisa. People are, they get it food, but I done been around the block. I'm gonna be 53 this weekend. I'm not playing.
Okay. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. But this thing is about this movement, and that's the biggest thing right now. So I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out to you the first of the week.
Okay.
I told you I'm gonna be in Miami this weekend. But
Please do.
yes, and we will definitely chop it up. You guys, I want you guys to continue to hit that GoFundMe without a doubt. And I'm going to tomorrow, I'm going to replay this entire thing in our group. So with thousands of people there, you guys stay locked. And like I said, give from your heart. Lisa, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Oh,
Thank you. I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I look forward to connecting with you. Expect to hear from me when I get back and get back to my pieces. I'll be a year older, but I'll be happier
A
to
year
connect
wiser.
and a year wiser.
Right.
Thank you, and send our love to Gerald. I know he just had a birthday, so special
Yes.
shout out
Thank
from
you.
Team Master Boxing.
All right. Thank you so
Have a
much.
blessed one, sweetie.
Yep.
Peace. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye bye.